Hello, I'm going to Frankenplan this Snapstake Eldigo Reorganiser display book so it fits into my large happy planner. So if you'd like to see how I'm going to do that, stay tuned. Hello, it's Edwina from My Craft Orchard. How are you? So this, as you can see, is a 2022 happy planner. I absolutely adore this, and I was using it for a Kanban book, so goals planning, that sort of thing. This is like I say, it's a 2022 large happy planner. It came with metal rings, and it was the Seasons of Colour book. So I never actually used the monthlies. If I have, like here, it's all in pencil so I can rub it all out. So the idea for this was I'm going to take it all apart and I'm going to make it into a sort of a home book. Let me just put my light back on. That's better. I turned it off because it was shining on the front cover. Look at that. That's the problem. It shines on the front cover. So I'm going to use it sort of a home book. But what I want to do is I want to insert various pieces of documents, and I don't want to punch them. So what I've done is I've found this, and this is actually A4, so it's bigger than the happy planner. So I could use this as it is. I've already put some, pretty paper in. What this is, it comes with a pocket at the front. They're like plastic cover, and then they come with a load of like Polly Pockets in it, and they're on small rings, and they are punched, look, for the mushroom, and it also comes with dividers. So I thought, well, let me just try this to see if it would work. This is the sealed part, and if it actually fits in absolutely perfect, apart from, I don't know if you can see that, it sticks over the top. One mushroom is over the top. It also comes down this way over the top of the dividers that are in this. But when it's shut, the cover actually covers that plastic poly this side perfectly. Obviously not at the top because it's too big. So there's two thoughts I could have. I could leave them the same size that they are, and just put one of these covers as a sort of a Frankenplan. So you put that on, and then sort of shut that over the top like that. So it would stick out in essence. This black one's bigger, so it would stick out, so you've got that extra, so you could just put them on the rings. It would stick out across the top and down the side. And I thought, you know what, I don't think I want to do this. This was only about £5, so it wasn't a lot of money. And the truth is, this cover I don't really like. I don't mind it as a divider, but as a cover I want to be looking at that. So what I thought I'd do is I'd show you how I'm going to cut the inserts of this down to fit into here. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out one of the dividers. This is such a pretty planner. That's why I want to reuse it, because I just love it. I also had the stickers that went with it. So I've got my paper trimmer, and I'm just going to put those together. Make sure the holes are in the right place, and then I'm going to put them in to there like that. Oh, everything's moving. There we go. So it's as simple as that. All I've done for that is I've cut the top off. And now that will fit perfectly into my Happy Planner without sticking out at the top. The other thing you could do if you wanted to, because it's you know what, I've just done 2 at a time there. I just thought, oh, yeah, there's 2. With these, that was actually quite good. I did 2 at a time. That was good. With these, they're sealed down this edge here. So what you could do is you could trim that off if you wanted to, the same as the divider down there. And then it would leave this edge open for you to just slip documents in. At the moment they're just at the top, so you just put your documents in there. That might be something that I do if I want a more accessible. I mean, you could use these perfectly for your Happy Planner if that's you want like a pocket at the front to as a like an inbox type thing. You could do that. You just cut this edge off and it would work perfectly. So that's the first thing I'm going to show you. The second thing now, with the cover, you've got this pocket at the front. So I want to keep that because I think that's pretty useful. So it would go into a planner, into your Happy Planner that way. So there's 2 things I could do. I could cut the mushrooms off, which would make them smaller. And then I could just repunch them. And if I did that in terms of the pocket, it would actually secure this edge here, which actually I might do, thinking about it. That might be an option. The other thing, if I trim this down, is I'm going to cut into this plastic bit at the top. So it's a question of, do I want the pocket or do I want the plastic bit at the top? I actually want the pocket. Now, this will not go into my Happy Planner punch. I can tell you now, that will have to be done by hand. And I haven't actually brought my punch with me. It's all downstairs. So, do I just trim it at the top? For now, I'm just going to trim it at the top to show you how I would do this. And then I might decide afterwards whether I'm going to trim this whole thing. I think what I'd have to do is put it into my planner, put it into the Happy Planner and set it up as if I'm going to use it and see if I like the extra width or not. I think that's the way I would do that. So I'm just going to line that up like that. Now, I know for a fact this paper trimmer is not going to go through the plastic. I know that. However, it will score it. So it will give me a line to work off. So all I'm going to do is I'm using, and I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on to start with, I'm just going to score it the best I can, just a couple of times. It's a titanium blade in this Viscard, so I mean it might do it a couple of, no, I think I just need to score it. Yeah. So if you have a look, it's scored it lovely, look. as I just peel that off. And then I've got my scissors, and I'm just going to run the scissors up that line that I've scored. You could always use a Stanley knife for this, so a craft knife, or a, you know, get your husband to do it or something. There we go. So that's actually cut really nicely. Might have to just trim that pocket, it looks like it's sticking out over the top just a little bit. That'll drive me mad. So that's it trimmed down to the correct size. It's still too wide, but like I say, I'm going to give that a go. Now this, oh, as I've just demonstrated, all I've done is I've just pulled that off like that. I think that's actually sort of welded in, that bit. So what I could do with that is I could just put a sticker or a bit of vinyl over it. To be honest, looking at it, it's not going to bother me. I don't think I'm going to get it off. No, it's not going to bother me, that isn't. It was that pocket that I wanted, if nothing else. So there you have it. That's how I've trimmed that down. That's how I've trimmed the Polly Pockets inside. Now, the dividers are going to be a little bit more difficult, purely because of the way they're set up. With the tabs and the spacings and all of those sort of things. So if I move all of this out of the way, let's have a look, shall we? So how big are these then? So once again, if I line the mushrooms up, they are too wide. So what I could do with these is I could move my divider over. These are actually quite thin, and I think I will get those through my punch. And what that would do is it would actually free up, because you've got those, it would then give me a load of dividers, which are the same size as my Happy Planner, to use. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let me talk you through the other bit, these dividers. So with the pink one and the blue one, I would take this section off, and with the blue one I would take this section off, because of the tab being at the top or the bottom. Okay, then that leaves these two. The middle one I'm going to have to take a bit off the top and a bit off the bottom, and I've got a feeling I might have to do these a little bit off top and bottom as well. What I'm going to do first of all though is I'm going to just do the pink one and the blue one. I'm not going to cut the mushrooms off, I'm just going to do it to the size lengthways, because it's just very easy. You just line that up like that, cut them off, put it back in the punch and punch it. What I'm trying to show you is how to sort these tabs out. I do apologise, I keep going off camera, I mustn't have it quite set up. What I've had to do is I've had to push it right up to the highest setting, and I'm not really used to using it on the highest setting. I could have done with a clip, I think. They're okay, I think. There we go. So put that into my paper trimmer again. Just Just making sure it's all lined up. Looking good. Take the divider out. That's it, and it's actually cut both of them, so that's good. So now I've got dividers that are the right size, so that will go like that or like that, whichever you prefer on the top. No, it won't, because the holes are in the wrong place. Okay, so because I've turned them over, the holes are in the right place, but if I turn them back that way, which is where they're supposed to be, and line them up, the holes are all in a completely different place. Can you see? So there's a mistake for you. Don't do that. Don't turn it over and cut them both together, because the holes are all in the wrong place. So to rectify that, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut the mushrooms off and repunch them, which is okay. I'm happy to do that, not a problem. I was probably going to do that anyway, but there's the mistake for you. Oh, trial and error, trial and error. Okay, so that's your top and your bottom. So what we now need to do is we need to make sure that these are all still lining up where they need to line up. And hopefully keep the holes in the same place. But because I've shortened them, if you look, they're all going to overlap a little bit more than they did when I bought it. Which is fine, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to take the blue and the yellow, because that's the top and the next one. I'm going to line the tops up. I think. No, I'm going to have to take a bit more. I'm going to have to do that, aren't I? I'm going to have to overlap them a little bit more. So bring that one down. What you're doing is you're sort of lining them up so all of the dividers are roughly where you would want them, so you can see them, but they are definitely going to overlap a bit more. So I'm going to take the blue one and the yellow one, and once again the holes, because if I line the holes up it sits properly like that. So what I could do is I could just take that section, that extra bit off there. The holes would all line up. These line up, but then when you would get the other three in, it's not going to work. So in this instance, I am going to have to repunch them anyway, if I want them all universal. If I didn't and I wanted them just like that, it would be fine. I mean, you could go down, line all those holes up, and those would work perfectly, but that last one, you line the bottom up. Yeah, because you're lining them up from the top. If you line them all up from the top, so you just cut all the bottoms off basically. So all the holes are lined up apart from the pink. Can you see? Those are fine, but this pink is now shorter. So what I'm going to have to do is I might cut the bottom off the yellow and if I cut the bottom off the yellow and I cut the purple one to match the pink one, like that. That would work, look. So the yellow one and the yellow and the blue match. The purple and the pink bottoms match. So then it would just be making sure that green one there is cut this way or cut that way. Probably have to cut the top and bottom off to make them fit properly. I'm going to have to cut the edges off anyway, so I'm not worrying about lining up the mushrooms. But that is something to consider. If that way they're the same, the right size, that is something you're going to have to consider. Okay, so I'm going to cut the blue one. Put the yellow one the same as the blue one. I'm going to cut the purple the same as the pink one. With projects like this, I always feel that it's almost like a trial and error type thing. Sometimes it's like, let's just try it, let's see what happens. So I've got those 4 where they need to be. Now I need to line up the green. Now I could line it up that way. So if this edge here, I line up, it will look like that. If I moved it to line up on the bottom, this bit lines up. So it depends whether I want it lined up here, or whether I want it somewhere in the middle. And the best way to do that is to put it right at the very back, because that's where you're going to see it from. I don't think that looks too bad. I don't think that looks too bad, because you can still see the green. The other thing I'm going to do is set this up as if they were in my folder, because again it's all about functionality. So if I put that into the middle where it's going to live, and I put it all down to the one edge so it's there, and then pretend I'm using them. So yeah, not a problem, yeah, not a problem, yeah, not a problem. So because the green is on top of the purple here, I think I'm going to cut this green bit off here. If it was the other way, no, turn it around, the other way, then I'd have a smaller tab here. So I've got a fairly big one, a big one. These are the same size, but that's smaller. It doesn't look quite how I would like it. I think I prefer it the other way. You could just cut a bit off both ends, and then that way you get it dead centre, but you know what, I might do that. This doesn't look quite right. That looks better. So can you see there's a bit of green this side and there's a bit of green that side. So I'm going to take the blue one off. I'm going to take the pink one off, because the green is actually between the yellow and the purple. And I'm just going to move the green along so it's sort of almost in the middle like that. And that looks okay. I'm quite happy with that. And then I'm going to use the template of the yellow to cut this bottom piece off. Let's try that again. Again, it's all about trial and error. It's all about... I should take the purple out. When you're cutting paper dividers, it is always worth I think punching right at the very end. Get all your tabs, get your sizes correct, get all your tabs, and then punch them right at the end, because as you can see here, all the punches are all over the place, so I'm going to have to trim them down anyway. So that's where it's got to be for that side. And there you have it. We should have a whole new set of dividers to go into my new home file. Like so. I need to cut them down here. I will do that off camera because this is going to take too long as it is. Could always neaten them up. I can see a bit of yellow sticking over there, so they do need a bit of neatening up, but I will do that once I've cut the mushrooms off here. I'll just double check and make sure that's all nice and neat, and there you have it. Now for the back one, it is just a plain piece of plastic, so with that one I will just cut it down the same as I did the cover, and there we go. I hope that was really helpful. I hope it's made you have a think about making your own dividers or using dividers out of another system and incorporating them into a system that you like. I've really enjoyed doing this. I always like a bit of a how-to type thing. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos on journaling and creative things in a journal, then please make sure you subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.